And joining us now is Ariel Cohen, Senior Fellow at the Atlantic Council, to discuss the latest developments on China, and not just, of course, about zero COVID, but, of course, geopolitics here as well. We saw protests this time last week, Ariel, and it seems the Communist Party paid heed.
Yes, indeed. They're lifting the most severe restrictions, but those who protested would be identified and probably arrested and punished. This is a high-tech totalitarian society, and it is not going to evolve anytime soon as long as Comrade Xi Jinping is in charge, and now he secured his rule for the foreseeable future. The level of protest so far does not indicate that there are going to be structural reforms politically. The big challenge, I think, for Xi is after he destroyed main Chinese companies to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars, is he going to beat a retreat and allow the economy to build itself back? I am not so sure so far.
So has he broken the social contract with the citizens of the mainland?
A lot of Chinese observers and analysts say that, yes, he did, because the social contract was that the quality of life and GDP per capita were growing up and up, and it's not happening anymore, whereas the internal oppression, be it in the virtual Chinese internet realm or in the street with the COVID restrictions, those restrictions were getting worse. And we saw the outpouring of public mourning for the leader who was a more liberal one, Jiang Zemin, who passed away at the age of 96. The leader who was appointed, in fact, after Tiananmen protest, who was not a sweetheart. But relative to Xi Jinping, he was much more liberal.
Yeah, Ariel, okay, sure. We've got that, but let's take a look at what's going on in terms of China in a geopolitical sense here. And they try to back away a little bit from Ukraine, or should I say Russia's, giving Russia support in that war. They've dialed that back a little bit, but the Taiwan question remains open. And the thing is, nationalism can, of course, be the refuge of a scoundrel.
Well, it is, and clearly in his meeting with President Biden, Xi Jinping did not back off the Taiwan question. We saw the Kuomintang Party winning in the local elections in Taiwan, and that's a party that still speaks about unification with China. So I think the best we can hope for is that there's no military clash over Taiwan anytime soon, and the differences and disagreements are resolved in a diplomatic way. However, the long-term vector of China getting stronger, China building its military, and the U.S. facing very serious challenges in terms of our ability to conduct two military operations, one in Europe, God forbid, it escalates in Ukraine, and another one in the Pacific. We do not have the military resources, the money, the technological base to conduct two wars. And we need to be very careful how we conduct our foreign policy and our military posture vis-a-vis China and Russia.
So, Ariel, at the beginning of the Party Congress, President Xi's speech, at least in the view of analysts, was kind of... It came away, or the listener came away with this sense that it was much more inwardly focused. And here we have, according to Reuters, Xi traveling to Saudi Arabia at the end of the week. I mean, how are we to understand the role that Xi sees himself playing on the world stage going forward?
That's a fascinating question. I think after he secured the domestic power, or he feels that his power now is formally enshrined, he's opened an enormous campaign of foreign activities. He met with 21 foreign leaders in the last, 3 months or so, from Finland to New Zealand, Australia, the Bali meeting. He is very active. And it's interesting that he is going to Saudi Arabia because to secure the Chinese energy supply is a paramount challenge for any Chinese leader. And with the Saudis feeling miffed and distancing themselves from the United States, there are many problems between the Biden administration and Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The Chinese will step into that vacuum, as they did with Iran, by the way. There's a huge $300 billion over 30-year investment package between Beijing and Tehran. Beijing and Moscow both support the oppressive Iranian leadership in what they're doing to their own people. So the competition from the Middle East to Africa to Russia will continue.
Ariel, very quickly here as well, what about the impact of the CHIPS Act? I mean, how damaging is that for the Chinese economy?
It's very damaging. I talked to a number of experts at a conference in Paris where I was recently, and people are saying that these limitations on U.S. exports to China are devastating. People warn that they may be a trigger to a quick deterioration in the U.S.-China relations. And again, we have to be careful not to push it overboard.
Ariel, thank you so much for being with us. Ariel Cohen, Senior Fellow at the Atlantic Council.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to get more content like this.